You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Greetings and welcome to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, the Underdog Show. I'm your host, executive producer, director, and broadcast engineer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and I'm thrilled to have you here today. We have a day filled with fabulous guests and amazing co-hosts. And speaking of my amazing co-host for today, let's bring out our star, Doctor Who, Ben Shai. Hello, Doctor Who.
Hey, Dr. J, how are you today?
Everything's coming up roses. Have you ever heard of that expression before?
Yes, I have heard of roses. In the UK, it's actually a brand of chocolate.
Oh my goodness. How about that? Roses are so beautiful and I love chocolate together. Sounds like a winner.
I know. Hey, I just had an honest burger.
A burger?
Yeah, nothing to do with roses, I know. It's an honest burger. And I was just thinking, like, why don't they call it dishonest burger? I mean, like, you know what I mean?
Lying burger.
Like, of course they're going to be. So what's the point of calling it an honest burger anyway? Anyway, hey, we've got a wonderful guest today on the Underdog Show. And the Underdog Show is all about people who've gone through like really difficult, challenging times in their lives. And we go through what happened and then how they get out of that mess that has happened. It might be a betrayal from a business partner. It might be some horrible stuff that happened to them as a kid. It could be all their animals rejected them. I don't know, and how they got on well with the animals. So, Dr. J, you've interviewed our guest before, so maybe you can share a little bit about this amazing young man.
Yes, I certainly would love to. So I met Adam Cortez through a social media platform, which is called Lunch Club. And I'm not a paid spokesperson, but they use artificial intelligence to match people together with similar interests. So Adam and I met, and I really loved what he's doing. He helps people with search engine optimization and also website development. So anybody out there, business owners, take a look at your website and where are you in terms of your Google search, and Adam's the guy who can help you with that. So Adam has also been on our business show, and he just has so much to offer, and he was sharing some of his life journey with us backstage, and he's really been through a lot. So I'm glad that he's here and he's open to talking to us about that. So let's bring him out. Adam Cortez, hello, joining us from Mexico today. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too. How's it going?
It's going well. Am I allowed to speak my useless Spanish to you, or would you find that offensive?
My Spanish is probably just as bad as yours.
Oh, okay then. Just
hola.
Hola,
yeah,
amigo.
That's all I got too.
Sounds like my Chinese is non-existent. Go on, Dr. J. You obviously want to show off your Spanish knowledge.
So that's all I know is me llamo Juanita. My name is, and Juanita is Jacalyn, I guess. I don't know, but that's all I know. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, seis. So, okay, enough of that.
It's really funny because I just posted today on my Facebook about how people ask me where I'm from, and then they ask me where I'm really from, and then they ask me where I really from. When I tell them I'm from England, they say, no, where are you really from? I say, no, I'm from London. Where are you really from? And then in the old days, I used to say, oh, I'm from London. And they'll say, where are your parents from? And I'd say, oh, my dad's from Malaysia. My mom's from British Guyana. And then they start talking to me in languages I had no clue about. So that's why I said, hey, Adam, is this all right if I speak to you? Because you might say, Ben, I have no clue.
Well, and Adam, you have not been in Mexico this whole time. You've moved from somewhere else, right? I think you were in California, weren't you?
Yeah, so originally I'm from San Jose, California. Grew up in the Silicon Valley, and ended up moving down here after traveling for the last 4 years, which is something I think I'm going to talk about today. But yeah, spent 4 years abroad and decided that it was time to find a a home base and fell in love with Mexico every time I've been here. So decided Oaxaca. It's the gastronomical center of Mexico. And it's amazing. It's a beautiful place to be.
We have a Mexican chain in the UK called Oaxaca.
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 Do they have honest burgers there and rose chocolate?
In Mexico, Adam, do they?
No.
No. No.
Oh, well.
Well, Adam, you know what I think is so interesting, and Doctor Who, I think you would agree, is that we meet people and we try not to make assumptions, but we look and, hey, he's got a successful business, just moved, everything's great. But yet that's not the case in the whole history of your life. And so we really respect and appreciate when people are honest about what they've been through, because we can all learn from it and we've all had to overcome something. Would you guys agree, Doctor Who and Adam?
Agreed.
Yeah, well,
Definitely.
I think it helps people kind of identify and connect better with you, because other than the person they see at the end, like, here's Adam Cortez, amazing, fantastic. Oh man, it's easy for you. And you're thinking, what if you've got my scars? And then when they realize the scars that you've had, then they think, oh, actually, and then it makes it easier for them to get out of their own crap when that happens.
Yeah, definitely. I think with social media, we can always portray who we want to portray, right? We can always, we put on our best face online and that's what people see. But in reality, that's not what's going on behind the scenes. It's, life is different.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's easier to talk about some of the stuff that you've been through. So just so our audience are aware, in case they haven't seen previous interviews with you, Adam, could you just share where you are today, and then we'll take you way back to that time where things were, no way.
Yeah. So today I own a digital marketing agency based out of the United States, but we have offices all over the States, Europe, London, and here in Latin and South America. With team all over. And basically we help small business owners get found online. So from web design to SEO, ad spend, PPC, that's what we do. So I've had the honor of helping a lot of small businesses, quite a few nonprofits, get their feet off the ground and get started. And it's been real fun and a journey from, building websites in high school for small businesses and learning the ropes to building a community, working with other marketers and supporting them, and also building up our business as we grow and expand globally.
That's brilliant. So maybe let's start your journey from when you first got into business, and then we'll get to that big thing that I'm not going to tell anybody because we don't want to we want to keep the suspense going, and then we get to the big thing that happened to you.
Yeah, definitely. So I started building websites, fixing computers, building websites with a few buddies of mine back in high school. We were young. I think I was like 14 at the time, and it was just helping basically my dad's friends who were all small business owners put little websites together, do a booking system and managing calendars and stuff like that. But really just at that point, I was understanding what digital marketing was. I didn't know that this was going to be the career that I was walking into, but it was just fun. It was something to do that wasn't school, that I really enjoyed. And that's kind of how I got started was just, having fun, working with my dad's friends and their business. And they really gave me a chance to start. And a few of them are still my clients today. It's been 13 years and they're still a part of my my little marketing family.
Hooray, marketing family.
That's so nice. Yay.
He's still a young man, isn't he, Dr. J? So what happened? What was the big thing that, because it sounds like you had a great family support with your dad supporting you in your business and everything's hunky dory, going well. And so what happened?
Yeah, there was it's so interesting because when you start to grow, I was making good money. I was doing things supposedly the right way, and I got basically too big for my britches. I started joining golf clubs and country clubs and being a part of that different lifestyle that was not what I was used to. Um, and with that became bigger projects, people that could take advantage of you, weren't really looking out for your best interest. And because of all of that, I just kind of got sucked into this vortex of drinking too much, partying too much, not really paying attention to quality of work, what was going in and out of the business and stuff like that. And so it just kind of started this downward spiral personally that was affecting my day-to-day life. And what ultimately happened is we brought on this big client. And by big client, it wasn't just for marketing. We had started as a marketing piece for them, but I decided to dive into investment and working with them to find investors to fulfill this project. And kind of the backstory of that was we were working with a lot of startup companies and their investment teams that were looking at the pitch decks that we were creating. So I had created this little network of investors that we were talking to. And long story short, this business needed money to the tune of $300 million, which was a big project for us to jump into. And we thought everything was going great. And we had been on this project for 6 months, looking for investment, looking at properties, looking at things like that. And all it took was about 1 week for things to go sideways because people got greedy and communication just kind of stopped. And it turned into a mess.
Oh my goodness. You have been through quite a lot.
Well, I mean, there's a lot here to unpack, actually, Adam. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. When you say it was a mess and 300, what is it, 3 million? Was it the figure you're talking about? When you say
300 million.
300 million, when you say it was a mess, what do you mean by it was a mess? Because I know you ended up running away a little bit because we spoke earlier about this. So how big was the mess? Was it like a BP oil spill or mess kind of?
I'm like, I don't know how to start the story first. What happened was the company had pitted me and another person against each other for this project. And ultimately we had the right people to get the job done and the other team didn't. And we had found all the money. They were ready to put the money into to use. And the company, the managing company that was handling all of this, decided to change locations of where they wanted to move to. They basically had changed plans altogether within, a 2-week notice. And with that, there was plans with mayors and there was political things that needed to happen within the cities that we were working in. And basically what happened was we got a call from the mayor's office asking if we were attached to the project because they were going to pull out of this project and walk away. And they said that if we were attached, that we should remove ourselves now before our names get dragged in the mud and it tarnishes our image. And so basically it was a phone call, basically asking, what the heck happened? Why did you go behind everyone's back to change this? There was no good answer as to why, other than we knew that some of the other players had a couple conflicts of interest and they were trying to double dip into the money pot that was happening. And so we walked away. My team that I had put together at that time were pretty more than frustrated because it was a big dollar amount that was attached to everything, a lot of time and energy that no one was eventually compensated for because there was nothing to be had. And it was every problem that could have happened between broken relationships with friends, partnerships with that were in my own business that just went awry, to our other business partners that we had been working with, that we had brought onto this project, that ultimately they understood, but still it's not it doesn't put the best faith into going into other projects like that going forward, right? At that point, you brought another project to them, they're like, well, maybe we'll look into it, we're not that interested at this moment. And so it hurts your reputation.
So what happened after your reputation got badly hurt? What did you do?
Personally, I drank way too much. There was a spiral of depression that happened, and I didn't really realize it actually until a couple of years ago what it was. I just kind of thought, this is life, it is what it is. But when you think everything is going to be golden and that there's this quite literally a golden goose ready to be hatched, your hopes are up, and maybe it wouldn't have turned out the way we thought it would, but to have nothing happen, to lose those relationships, to have your integrity and your business integrity kind of thrown out the window. You kind of don't know who to reach out to first, who to apologize to, who ended up in the same boat that you are because they had their hopes up. And so it made me second guess almost everything I was doing, whether I was in the right business, whether I should even be in business at all, should I just go get a regular job? And all of this, I was 23, 24 at the time. I was young. There was not a lot of experience to handle this kind of almost rejection. And so there was that spiral that happened. Ultimately, because of all of this, I was at a friend's house. We were having a little potluck with some friends, and we were just talking about travel and places we would love to go. And someone brought up Spain, and I said, oh, that's one of my bucket list items, to go to Spain and travel Europe and all of this. And she goes, oh, the tickets are like $150. I'm like, oh, that's cheap. She's like, yeah, buy a ticket. Like, you should go buy a ticket. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll buy a ticket, joking. And she's like, no, you get your phone out and buy the ticket. And I'm like, yeah, of course, let me do that right now. And thinking you're not going to do it. She's like, no, seriously, buy the ticket. So I bought the ticket, and then I'm like, that was the last. I had $200 in my account at that time. I was scarce on money because I wasn't getting new clients at that point. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I just bought, a $150 ticket to go to Spain from California. And it was the best decision I think I could have made at that time, was to push myself more out of the comfort zone, get away from home, get away from the toxic lifestyle I was living, and get away from people that I wasn't sure how to handle at that point. And so part of it was running away, and part of it was I needed something new to reinvigorate me and get me out of the slump that I had been in for almost a year and a half, is what it took.
Right, and I understand you had to put your company into liquidation.
Yeah, so the version of that business, that team dispersed. We lost everything. Personally, credit cards got used and never paid back, and went into default, and just not sure how to survive, right? I'd never been in this position before. Before this, money was good. I had, there was nothing, there was an abundance of everything. So to have, the rain cloud hover over you and not leave is just a different dynamic that I've never experienced before. So I didn't know which way was up.
Yeah.
Adam, thank you. Thank you so much. What you're sharing today. I mean, I'm just envisioning you with the phone out, making that decision that was basically life-changing. When you were talking about the drinking and the spiraling of the depression, and my understanding is they can go hand in hand together. What was the moment that you realized, I have a problem? I have a drinking problem. I am depressed. When did you realize that?
Yeah, I don't know if there was like a clear moment. There's definitely, you have those nights where like, what am I doing? I shouldn't have drove tonight. I shouldn't have, put my life at risk there. I could have, hurt somebody here. The mornings you wake up and you're like, did I really say this thing that I shouldn't have said because I was drunk? Did I really mean it? Right. So there's these moments of like, what am I doing to my, you're pushing people away, right? That's what alcoholism is. And then to add the depression to it, that's enabling the alcoholism even more. It's a death wish. And like I said, at that moment, I didn't know I was depressed. There was no like, oh, this is just, that didn't comprehend yet. And I remember, I didn't have that much money. So I remember pulling, the last $5 to go get a beer, to go with a friend, to go have a couple beers, or he would spot me. We would go to the happy hours to, get $2 beers kind of thing. And then there's the moment like, why am I only, why is this the priority? And so really when I bought that plane ticket, that was kind of like the snap to reality of like, oh, so this thing's going to happen. I had 5 months basically from the time I bought the ticket to leaving. And so within those 5 months, I decided like, okay, I need to change my life. And what is that going to look like? And so I, had my whiteboard and started making this plan to travel around the US first before I left for Europe. And ultimately at this point, my plan was not to come home. I was going to live in Europe in some way, somehow. And so I made this plan to speak across the US at different co-working locations to drum up business for web design clients, and kind of start everything over from scratch. And that's what happened. And so within that moment of buying the ticket and making this plan, the luxury of just sitting and drinking and, being depressed was no longer an option. I had to move and make decisions and make things happen. And I think that's what started to pull me out of that slump, to say, hey, there's more here. There's more things to do. There's things to see. And now's the time to go do these things.
Okay, I just want to summarize a little bit, Dr. J. So from what I'm hearing, Adam, is that you had a business which your family supported you in from the age of 14 up until about 23. Everything was going fine. Yeah, maybe 22, 23. It's going fine. You were making money. People loved you. You were the golden child, so to speak. Then you got involved in kind of, as you said, maybe the things went to your head and you started signing up for these kind of like clubs and so on to almost show that you're, I think it's a very American thing. I'm sorry to my American brothers and sisters, but you want to almost show that you're doing well. Whereas in the UK, if we're doing well, we still like dress up like Bill Gates, and we still drive the old cars like Warren Buffett, who's been driving the old car for quite a while. We don't tend to show off the who we are for a variety of reasons. But it sounds like a very for me a very kind of thing to do. Plus, you're young as well, and so I'm guessing you listened to other people in the clubs who gave you certain kinds of advice. Which today, what would you do today? What would you if you had that situation again, when you're just building that business up, because that's what you're doing, but I'm thinking you're taking a totally different path.
Yeah, and now, looking back on it in retrospect, if I had a chance to do things differently, I don't know if I necessarily would. All of these things led up to the person I am today, to having the experiences that I had overseas. It gave me the opportunity to pull myself up, and there's something to be said about travel, especially when you're doing it solo, of the problem solving, the never being comfortable, and having to figure things out that most people don't ever have the chance to do because they don't put themselves in those uncomfortable situations. And so, a lot of, yes, these things I went through were not fun. And, there was a level of depression that happened, and all these things had to happen. I don't know if I'd ever say I wanted it any different. It's all part of the experience of life, right? I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for those things.
Yeah, that's so true. We've got to go to honor our sponsors. So we've got to go and sort that out. But I'd like to come back to a few of those things, because when you're saying like you left a lot of friends down, I'm guessing they invested money into your business, and a lot of customers. Now especially when you're running away, they need someone to do that work, and you're no longer there. Or if they're trying to speak to you, as you say, you may be in a different kind of mood and pushing them away. So we'll go there, and then we'll take ourselves out of that, and some of the other gems that you shared about travel and how you've rebuilt your life. Is that okay, Dr. J?
Sure, that's fantastic. Yes, stay with us. We'll be right back on the Underdog Show with our guest, Adam Cortez. We'll be right with you.
It's what we do together that counts. The Big Alliance story. A true story about faith over adversity, perseverance, and entrepreneurship. Read Earl's story and how he became an entrepreneur. Available on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible.com. For more information, contact Earl Hurd at earlhurd@bigalliance.com or call 1-800-460-4242.
The world of healthcare is benefiting us in many ways, but the risk of becoming a victim to an airborne infection is increasing at a fast pace too. There are threats from viruses, allergic pollen, and chemicals which cause you loss of health, income, business, mental health, family and friends. All are at stake. One solution to this threat are the BV Air Sanitation Placide-based systems. When you call our team on 0208 104 3253, you find out about the amazing protection available. Protection that uses certified Battlefield, tested, standard and customized air disinfection systems for your personal and business use. Each system uses a filterless technology known as Placide, which attacks all airborne particles with microlighting to destroy and eliminate viruses and other harmful particles in your office, transport and home. You also benefit from extra bonuses such as low running and maintenance costs, no regular filter and part changes. You get to work with our trained experts and professional staff and be made aware of the latest in airborne protection and disinfection strategy. Keep yourself healthy by working with our trained experts and Placide virus killing systems, which keep you safe from airborne viruses. BV Air Sanitation Limited. We save lives, save businesses, and prevent infection. Schedule your free consultancy call and virus protection checklist. Call 0208 104 3253 or connect to us on www.bvbuster.com.
I don't think men are superficial idiots, that their brains are wired to be visual. You're told I give great advice.
Nike Just Do It for exercise, I think really applies to sex, too.
I've coached hundreds of men and women.
So I disagree with her where she's like, put it all out there on the first date. You know, an open book is not sexy.
Exactly. You know. Do you have relationship questions? Chances are one of my clients, or myself, or my friends have gone through the same thing, and I already made a video about it. So I invite you to check out my YouTube channel, Donna Barnes. I've made hundreds of advice videos based on real-life experiences so that you can make better choices.
In my upcoming Breakup Recovery Action Plan, there's going to be checklists and quizzes.
Best information that I've ever experienced or acquired. If you're stuck and can't move forward or let go, my action plan is built to help you. Subscribe to my channel. I'll help you have better relationships.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hey,
Hey,
Dr.
Dr. J.
Hey, it's good to see you over there. Yes. And we've got a great guest today, Adam Cortez. Adam, welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone.
How are you doing, Dr. J?
I'm doing really well, thank you. I'm just so appreciative that, Adam, you have really let your hair down, so to speak, and really given us some insights as to what you've gone through. And we want to hear more about it. I would like to know, hearing yourself share your story, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think there's part of, like, there's a detachment of the story of, like, that's who I was, and that's not who I am anymore. So there's that, and now knowing where I am, there's parts of who I've become through the travel, through the visiting of other places, and the people I've met, that have enriched my life so much that I'm thankful for what happened. I'm thankful that I was pushed to that limit because of it. So, you know, it's as bad as things have been, as bad as things could have been. You know, life is still good. Things are still, you know.
Where was your dad in all of this, Adam? Because there he was at when you were 14. So where was he when you were 23? Did something happen in between?
No, both my parents are still around and were there. You know, at this point, they have no hand in at that point, they had no hand in the business. You know, they were supportive in what was going on, and they heard what I was willing to tell them. But this level of what we were doing work-wise was really over his head. You know, we were working with big money where he's, you know, doing remodels on homes and in construction. And so it's just a different environment that I think neither one of us knew how to communicate what was going on with each other.
Were you very embarrassed that you didn't tell him everything? Because he could see you, you know, drinking all the time. He could see the depressed Adam compared to the son he'd worked with when he was 14 and 15 and 16, you know?
Yeah. I don't know if he saw the depression. You know, maybe he did. Maybe both my parents did. But I think what they saw more was me partying and going out and doing things, not taking care of my health, more than they saw the depression and the spiraling. You know, I think we're all very good at hiding what's going on with ourselves, and not sharing it with the world when we don't want to.
Right.
You know, we only let people see what we want them to see. Like, you know, we were talking earlier about social media and how social media only allows people to see the good. And I wouldn't say I was only posting the good on Facebook. I'm not a big
I
on social media either.
I was kind of more interested. By the way, I think your microphone is scratching against. There you go. But I think I was kind of more interested in like you actually sharing everything, because I know at that age, I didn't realize I could have shared so much more with the people around me, and they would have kind of, even though we may not think they understand what we're going through, they actually understand a lot more because they've had their own kind of challenges when they were younger and so on. And I'm guessing there was that kind of, there's like, my dad thinks I'm this great person, and now I'm suffering a little bit from this imposter syndrome, and I don't want him to feel, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if we've actually, now that if we've even talked about it that much, about the depression and what was going on at that time. He knows that. So when I took off to travel, that I needed to do it, and he was kind of questioning why. But even to this day, there's a lot that hasn't been shared with either one of them. It's stuff that I've shared with my wife now, of kind of what happened and kind of who I am today. But it's still, it's not a topic I bring up too much. Obviously, for the show, I wanted to bring it up because it is a part of what the journey and the path that I'm on now. But yeah, anyways, I'll stop rambling.
So I've been betrayed by very close friends, and in fact family members, who put me in over roughly £1 million worth of debt, and took me 10 years to get out of. Just so you're aware, Adam, and there's a lot of things that I realized that helped me. As you say, okay, it helped me in my journey, but as a result of that, I've got a lot of lessons. So that now I'm in the situation again, I handle it very differently. Like, for example, you're saying about this 300 million deal. Every time somebody shows me these large deals, I take it with a pinch of salt. Like, if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, great. But I'm not going to put all this money towards that unless I get some written commitments and some guarantees from the people back, written guarantees. So do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's funny. So we actually we're working on another bigger deal about a couple months ago, and it wasn't as big, but it was still a couple $1 million project a year. And I almost had that same ideology of like, if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, it's not the end of I still got other things I need to focus and work on. And it ended up being smoke and mirrors. The project never took off. The person in charge couldn't get their things together so that we could move forward. And it was just a disorganized mess. And I had seen flags, now you start to become aware of things before they happen, right? Like, you're seeing the flags arise. And so I'd already taken note of those things. And so when it was time to say, this isn't a fit for us and I can't, involve any more resources, it wasn't a big deal business wise. And it also wasn't a depression point of, oh my God, we were going to work on this thing and it just went away. No, it's whether it was a $3 million deal or a $1,000 website, it fell in the same category of, well, that wasn't fun. It would have been nice to have that, but I got other things I got to do anyways. Life has to move on. Yeah.
Well, the reason I mentioned the big deals, and you're very right, the amount you put in for $1,000 or $1 million is very similar. But the reason I mention it is because of the 300 million thing you went through. There's a famous man in the UK who is a billionaire. I don't know if you know him. His name's Richard Branson. And there's a story in his biography where this one of his employees lost him over £1 million, or roughly £1 million, or something significant anyway. So he's coming into the office, according to the biography, he's been called in by Branson, and according to the biography, he gets in and he's just waiting for him to be shouted at and fired. And so Branson apparently goes into the drawer, pulls out a water pistol and starts firing water all over him. And says, "Okay, now get back to work." And later on, when he's recovered, because he doesn't really know what happens, he goes and speaks to him and says, "Why, I'm expecting you to fire me. Why didn't you?" And the reply was, "I spent over $1 million on you learning a very important lesson, right? Why do I want to lose all those lessons in one person after I've just invested this money in you?" And that, apparently, according to the book, I may have got all the figures wrong, but he became one of his most loyal employees, and like you went through this thing, but now you've got all these lessons. And that's why whenever people come to me with these very large deals, most of the time it's smoke and mirrors, and not all the times. And I'm always saying to people I'm working with, get 5 of them. Get 5 of them. One of them is probably going to be good. But if we've got like this, that way we kind of know that we're going to get at least one great deal. Whereas if it's just one, just from my years in business, most people are blagging it.
Yep.
Dr. Who and Adam, I have a question about that. So for people who are watching and listening, what would you consider to be a large deal that people should, take a step back and really consider or reconsider?
To me, anything that's over, say, 2 to 3 person salary that's on the table that we're taking over, is something that just needs to be looked over a little better. It isn't a quick contract that goes out to be signed in a single day. There's more things to be considerate about. $1 million project and up, to me, is when you start involving your lawyers and start making sure everything is on the up and up. And how involved are you planning to be in a project like that? Because there's a bigger time commitment. There's more on your plate as a business owner. Whether I'm allocating resources of my team or whatever, there's a hiring phase that has to go through for us to bring new people in. So there's more to consider at that point. So I think there's layers of having to stay more focused and bring more people in to legitimize that project. And then, like you said, 1 out of 10 are real. The rest of them are smoke and mirrors. The rest of them are promises that were written on a napkin that had no validity yet.
Yeah, it's like somebody said, "Oh, I'm going to do this business with you for $2 million. You need these people," and then they approach you and say, "Hey, this person has said that they are going to do it, but actually they don't have any contracts, but they haven't told you that." And then you're getting involved in their whatever food chain going up, where somebody has misheard somebody else. This is a thing. So we're always asking, "Well, prove it. What are you going to do to guarantee my finance?" These are the kinds of questions that today we ask. Do we have any collateral? So this is from an investment perspective that we're asking people for. Like today we'll take first charges of their homes. I mean, that really flushes out how serious they are about that. Right. And as Adam said, immediately you get a lawyer. Okay, look, get your lawyer to send me blah, 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 blah. And it just shows how serious they are.
How committed they are to it.
Always looking at balance sheets and accounts as well. That's another thing. Normally, Dr. J, if it's too good to be true, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. Now, there are things that are too good to be true that will happen. and they have happened to me. But compared to all the standard everyday business, my bread and butter, which is what I depend on more than these kind of like the too good to be true deals, that's the best lesson I've ever learned. The best business lesson is the compound effect ever. So you just make your 50, 100, 200, whatever it is every month and keep investing it. It's small amounts, but over time you become a multimillionaire. Whereas if somebody says, "Oh, here's a deal for 2 million," for you to be a multimillionaire straight away, maybe not. Now, as you grow your business and you have more and more proper contacts, which you've over time now built up, so you know they're solid, that's when you know that some of these larger deals are true. But by then you've already created a larger infrastructure in your own business to deal with it. Yeah.
Good
so
point.
That's the compound effect of not just finances, but your contact base. And it's you spent a time watching people and looking at what they're doing. So I'm guessing the challenge that Adam had as a young man, he's still a young man, but as a much younger man, is he got caught up in this lifestyle of country clubs and so on, where all these people are trying to prove that they're doing much better than everyone else. And behind the scenes, probably a lot of them are in massive amount of debt, trying to sustain this kind of image. So this is even before social media. This is just people trying to like, hey, look at me. But inside, there's just nothing. I'm guessing, Adam, that those are the lessons you've learned.
Exactly. From the country club, and it's funny, I have a couple of really good friends that I've met from these clubs that we're still very connected to. But a lot of the conversation now, and from both of our standpoints, is, wow, there was a lot of people there that were just as screwed as the rest of us, that were still trying to, get a leg up somewhere. And it's all show. Everyone's in a suit and a tie and pretending to be, this Don Draper, if you will, of whatever world it is, and it, like you said, it's just smoke and mirrors. It's all pretend until something happens. And so, and like you said, what we focus on now in business is, it isn't these big $1 million contracts or even the couple $100,000 contracts. It's keeping the small residual income, the contracts that we have on an ongoing basis happy, because they bring in better clients. They refer better clients. They are happy with the quality of work that we do, and that's what's important to us. And so, that compounds over time. It may not be the first year or 2 years or 3 years of business, but I've been doing this 13 years now. Things are pretty good. And clients that we have now are really good. And that's what matters, right? That's what's important for business is the clients are happy. We're doing quality work. And when it's not quality, we're called out on it and we fix it and we make it better. There's
Adam,
so many lessons.
The reason why those businesses that started out with you when they only had $1,000 are probably spending a lot more is because their compounded growth of you helping them grow means that I've been with Adam for 5-10 years, and as a result of the social media and the SEO, I've attracted more business. So I'm putting more business his way as my own business grows bigger, as I acquire more brands, as I acquire more services, as I want to move into larger and larger areas. And that is funny because that is your million right at the beginning. That is your $1 million or your 2 million or 10 million contracts. You just didn't know it because they were so tiny then, right?
Great point. Yeah.
Really, absolutely serious about this. We had in one of my businesses, which is in real estate, somebody invest. I'm going to tell this story wrong, but so just give me some poetic license here. They invested about £20,000 with us, which is about $30,000, and that was great. A couple of years later, they said, well, I've got about $100,000. And then another year later, I've got 200. And then 5 years later, they're saying, I've actually got, probably just under $1 million. And they wanted to see what we would do with their money right at the beginning, right? They always had all that money before. So that was them growing and trusting you. This is people growing and trusting Adam with his business, with his SEO, with his web designs, with his so on. Okay, he's done really well. And we've grown. We can give him more work. Now I trust him. He's never gone wrong. And if he has, we've had a conversation. He's put it right. I'm also going to tell him about some of my great friends, which I could have told him about 3, 4, 5 years ago. But I didn't really know what he was going to like. Was he going to be like one of these people that Dr. J had ages ago who said he could do her website and and she gave him the money, felt sorry for him, but just nothing and happened. I mean, Dr. J, you would never refer anybody to that person, I'm guessing. But if he had grown your business and you'd grown with him, over time you would have thought, you've never got me wrong. I'm going to, refer other people to you.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Yeah, it's all about proving yourself and that you can be trusted and commitment. I have something I wanted to touch on before the end of our show, because you mentioned this before, and I think it's really important for our audience. If we go back to when you were sitting there with your friend and the phone and making that reservation, I want to just kind of draw a distinction between running away and then making a plan to change your life. So when we think of running away, we've got this problem over here. We don't want to deal with it. We don't know how to deal with it. We're just going to pretend it doesn't exist. We're going to get on a plane, a bus, whatever it is, and we're just going to leave town. You didn't do that. You had 5 months to think about it before you took that flight. And I think that's so important for people listening, because people are struggling right now. People are in a bad place right now. And it's easy to just think about running away. But that's not what we're trying to encourage, right?
Right.
So, Adam, when you think back to where you were then with the phone and then the 5 months and then you went to Spain, what would you say to people who are, they're thinking, I just want to run away. I just want to leave it all behind?
Yeah, it's, there is something about soul searching and getting out of the place that you're in. If things aren't going right and you're in an environment that is constantly pulling you to be in a negative space, whether that's people that aren't supportive, or your family that's not supportive, or a community that you're in that isn't supporting growth, it's constantly bringing you down, or drinking or doing drugs or whatever it is, that change of scenery, there is that saying, grass isn't always greener on the other side, but the change of pace, the shift of a perspective that happens when you buy that plane ticket and you go somewhere different, or you have those conversations with people that you would have normally never had a conversation with, and it changes your life view of how the world works. Those moments stick with you forever. I've had plenty of conversations with people that I never would have had conversations with before, that have changed my life view, that opened my eyes to what life can be and what is for me now. So yeah, it's the change of pace, the getting away from people that are not supportive, and really, bettering yourself. And sometimes it takes a plane ticket when we can fly.
Yeah, I love that. And I think one other thing I just would like to have you touch on is, at some point we have to stop beating ourselves up, right? Because every day it's like, oh, I did this, or this happened, or that happened. And once you do that, that's the point where you say to yourself, yeah, I made a mistake. I made mistakes. I'm sorry. And then you start taking your one step at a time in the right direction.
And that's all we can do, right? All we can do is taking that one step at a time. And, it's painful, and people are going to confront you as you go through it. And those moments aren't fun, but they have to happen. That's part of life. And it gets better. It always gets better. It's not like this forever.
That's true. Yeah. Dr. J, do we have just time for Adam to share how it got better for him?
Sure, we'd love to hear
some of those relationships that he had to repair.
Yeah. It took a lot. There was a lot of uncomfortable conversations that had to happen, on trips back home within those 4 years of travel, severely just cutting off friendships that were just not supportive, that were toxic, that were, constantly going in the wrong direction. And then, ultimately for me, I left my area that I was uncomfortable in, and moved to Mexico. And for me, that's been the best change, not just because I moved to a different location, but, life is good here. Quality of life is more important than keeping up with the Joneses and portraying yourself as someone that you're not. I like to wear a suit and a tie and, a lot of men. And I just don't have to do that here. I don't have to portray something that I don't need to portray. And it's okay. No one looks down on me because I'm not. So life changed because I allowed it to, and I had severe ties, and I had to have conversations that were not fun, apologize to people that may never forgive me still because of things that I've said or done in the past, business-wise and personal, and having to be okay with that. And I think that's another big thing that people are afraid to do, is letting go of the fact that someone doesn't ever want to talk to you again. And it just happens, and it's okay. You don't need to keep everybody in your life forever.
Beautiful. People do come in and out of our lives for a reason, and sometimes we don't know why, and then we don't know why they left, but we just look for, how did we support each other during those times?
Yeah.
Yay!
Well, we are so appreciative of you being here, Adam. And, it's interesting, as I mentioned, I interviewed you before. I had another conversation with you before that, and I didn't know any of this. So I have so much respect for you for coming on here and sharing your story, and so happy for your success now. And your peace, you seem to be very much calm and at peace, and you found a great way of living.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm hearing that if you've been in some of these problems before, get away from all the noise. Even some of the good people and you trying to give you good advice, but it's all noise. So get away and somewhere, and just for you to just think things through. Yes. And the second thing that I'm hearing is that then come up with a plan. And so part of your plan was, okay, look, this happened, but there was nothing wrong with the business. So I'm going to find a way to rebuild that business, and also going to have those hard conversations with people, just to try and put things right if it's possible. Those are three things that I've taken away from this.
Yeah.
Yeah. One other thing I wanted to add. Someone said to me once, just in general, are you addicted to drama? And a lot of times in our life, there's so much drama that we're intertwined with ourselves and with other people. We just get so used to it, and we don't realize how dysfunctional it is. And then if you get on the plane, or you take a walk, or you take a drive, and you can separate yourself, Ben, to your point, clear your head a little bit, and then maybe you'll be able to look at things a little bit differently.
Yeah. Right. Hooray! Well done, Adam, for pulling through. Other people may have, done other things and never recovered. So well done on finding that way out. And thank you for sharing all that great information to our audience, and being vulnerable enough for them to feel, connected.
Yeah, of course, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Adam, I don't know if you're taking on new clients, but what's the best way for people to get in contact with you on the radio? They're not able to see this banner.
Yeah. So you can reach out to me at arccreativeco.com. I have a couple of different links down there to reach out to me, get in touch, and schedule a one-to-one call. If you're looking to rebuild your site or just get seen online, we have a couple of different ways of doing that. So I'd love to chat with you if that's what you're trying to do with your business. And yeah, you can find me on most social media platforms at Adam R. Cortez is my handle on almost everything. And you can reach out to me there.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing your story and being so transparent. It just really means a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much, Adam. I appreciate it. And say hello to all my Mexican brothers and sisters out there. You're awesome, you guys, and you rock at salsa. No, I was at in Canada, a thing where the Mexicans just killed it. Everyone was throwing their partners in the air and stuff. The Mexicans they didn't do any of the showy stuff. They were just very, very good dancers, and they won it. They were on point, on time, in sync. Brilliant.
Bravo. That is brilliant. All right. Thank you again, Adam. We'll see you later.
See you later, Adam.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
He was terrific. He was so just authentic and vulnerable.
Yeah, and so much great information to help get your way out. Sometimes you just have to take it on the chin and have those hard conversations with people and say, I screwed up.
Right.
That is such a brave thing to do.
It is. And by the way, when you do that, that doesn't mean the other person, like Adam was saying, doesn't mean they're going to forgive you. But at least if you can forgive yourself and move forward with integrity, doing the right things, then you're not going to be carrying that burden with you. Yeah. That's going to keep you back.
And I think, there are some people who will keep you in a rut, like continue to, hey, let's have more to drink and so on. And you just have to move away from that, because it just clouds up your mind.
Yes.
Like Adam was saying. Dr. J, before we go, can I just give a few shout outs?
Please, yes.
Yeah, there's a lady called Jo Phillips who I think she's a fashion designer and something. Anyway, she has this, her brand is called Scent Magazine, CENTMAGAZINE.co.uk. And on her website, there's a number of documentaries that have helped change people's perceptions of many underdogs. And by underdogs, I mean people who've suffered from AIDS, women who've been really oppressed in certain governments. And I promised I'd mention that to her. And finally, tomorrow evening, I'm part of a group called the 529 group. You can find that on Facebook. It's for people who are in media, radio presenters, actors, film directors, producers, people who do theatre and so on. Anyway, tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock UK time, which is 3 o'clock in the afternoon EST time, we have the finals to a voiceover competition where whoever wins a representation, a representative, someone who'll essentially sell you around the world and get you great voiceover deals. Now, the competition is just so much fun. It is in Clubhouse, and I know some of my American friends. Today, you can run that app on Android, which is free, as well as Apple. Like Dr. J, I get no money for advertising the app, but it is a free app, and you will be treated to a spectacular in voiceover and things people can do. Because I've met in Clubhouse all the finalists, and they are amazing. So you don't have to pay anything for this, and have a great time. I think, unfortunately, Dr. J, you're actually got a show on at the time.
Otherwise, I would be there. So please, everyone, go over to Clubhouse. And I think you don't have to be a member. Isn't that right now? If you have the link?
Yeah, I don't have the link on me, but you'll find it if you go to find 529 Creatives or find Ben Chai. Just in the search bar, search for myself and to follow me into the room.
Follow Ben into the room. All right, my friend, thank you so much. I just want to promote tomorrow. We have a brand new show, which is called Align Mat. ALIGN-MAT, and it is a yoga sculpt class that I'm going to be doing live. No green screen, no makeup, no dress, just yoga clothes on my mat, and I'm going to be joined by Dana Cato. So if you would like to do yoga sculpt, it's a 75-minute class. There's no fee, and we will be doing a guided meditation, yoga, we'll have a flow, we'll have balancing series, push-ups, we'll have core, we'll have squats, we'll have some cardio. We're going to have a great time. So please try to join us tomorrow. That's 9:30 Eastern time, 2:30 British Summer Time. Ben, will you be there?
2:30 British summertime on a Thursday. No, because I'm writing some scripts for you for the evening where I'll be teaching about various aspects of TED Talks.
Ah, that's right. You're
there you go. So I just need to make sure all the materials in line for people watching the Best of You show.
Perfect. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're going to be doing that. You'll have 3 presentations for us tomorrow, so we look forward to that. And in case you missed our show earlier, I'm streaming this. I'm going to let people on the radio know. If you want to know how to watch our shows, what our shows are, what times the shows are, go over to our website, drjacalyn.com, and then across the top, there's a tab, Watch Our Shows. So you can watch some of our shows there, but you can also see all the ways to watch. And the best way, of course, is to go to our YouTube channel, Dr. Jacalyn LLC, and subscribe. Okay, thank you so much. That's a wrap for today, Dr. Who. It's a pleasure seeing you, and look for us at the business show right after this at 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is 7 p.m. British Summer Time. I'm getting all these time zones slowly.
I can see that. Whoa. You're going to be a time lord.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Who. Thank you, everyone. We hope you have a great day, great evening, and come back and see us at the top of the hour.
Brilliant. Thanks, Dr. J. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Do write us comments, send in questions, or if you'd like to be on the show, send us a message.
Yes, just go to drjacalyn.com and contact us. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting. I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.